Good evening. Nice, quiet, relaxed evening. The chaos of the day. Honestly, right? So, speed of light, the lasers, the retro reflectors on the moon. It's the extent of the lies. I've been reading up and it's unbelievable. I know there are lots of you who think that they went to the moon in 1969, right? But look at the date, 1969. I mean, no mobile phones. They used a sextant and telescopes to navigate. I am just amazed, right? I read the stuff about the retroreflectors and who invented the first laser when, and it's just this string of lies. It's almost like a game. It's almost like a game, right? But the only way to get people to believe this, right, is to bamboozle them when they're children. Because honestly, it's... So I was thinking, reading up about the retro reflectors. First of all, I'm thinking, so where do they aim at the moon, right? Because it's 1.3 seconds, isn't it? They say. There's Daisy the cow, by the way, up there. Daisy the cow. So they've got the retro reflectors. Another thing. Why don't we see them? All right? They're firing lasers at the moon. Where is the footage? Not a freaking doctored photograph. Don't you think if they were firing lasers at the moon that there would be footage everywhere, right? If they were able to do that, they would not stop bragging about it. But it's always the same one picture that doesn't seem quite right. And it's just this lack of common sense that goes with it. How are people falling for this stuff? You've got Buzz Aldrin comes out. They didn't go. You don't need Buzz. You don't need to be looking at the flag shaking in the wind. You don't need to be looking at the ascent stage of the command capsule blasting off of the moon, the cameras zooming up and following it. You don't need any of that to know that they didn't go. People who say, where's your evidence that they didn't go? The evidence that they didn't go is in every single bit of footage you ever see. This is what I'm not understanding. This is what I am not understanding. The lies, right? If they concentrated on humanity, like they're concentrating on the lies, we'd all be laughing, right? It's the extent to which they go to lie, right? Now I know there's camps are split on this one, but I guarantee you folks, even thrust in a vacuum should be questioned. It's the lies are, it's insane. But when I sit down sometimes, right, and I'm reading through it, and I can, look, it's horrible. It's horrible having a logical mind, but it's just page after page of one lie on top of another lie, on top of another lie, and the depth of the lies, right? It's magnificent, right? But it all comes down to just one thing, or two, common sense and logic, right? They're firing lasers at the moon. This is how I start this freaking journey. So I say to myself, there's retroflectors, right? So let's say it's there. Massive. It doesn't matter. So they want to hit the retroreflector. Now, it's 1.3 seconds, isn't it? See, I'm doing all this, and they've covered every angle. Now, these retroreflectors, they pick up a wide area, right? So it's all singing, all dancing. They're there straight away. But there is never any visual evidence of the lasers firing at the moon and coming back. This is what I don't get. People, you just do not need evidence, do you, for the stuff that is being claimed. If they are firing lasers at the moon for real, there would be cameras everywhere. If they had landed on the moon, there would be cameras up there everywhere. We cannot. They are picking up molecules, brand new molecules, right? Theoretical particles or whatever, billions and billions of light years away, right? With the James Webb Space Telescope. That is cruising around at Lagrange point 2, okay? Thrusting in a vacuum every now and again to adjust it just cruises. It's all of these things, it's just one after another. Artemis, Elon Musk. You can see how many rockets don't make it, right? But no, 1969, it was different back then, wasn't it? They didn't crash back then, they didn't blow up. They got the job done with a telescope and a sextant. They got the job done. One thing I always ask as well, where did the astronauts train to land in a vacuum, right? And one sixth of Earth's gravitational pull. That is if it is gravity, right? Because this one's coming up now everywhere. It could be, look, it's one gravitational pull. Now, see, the thing is here, right? The thing is, there is one fact that blows everything away. And that is, there is no light delay during a solar eclipse. There is no light delay. People, you can go on and on and on. Sun's down there, by the way. And these are all other stars, right? Just depth, you know. What was I going to say? I can't remember what I was saying now. Oh yeah, where on earth did they learn to fly in a vacuum and in 1/6 of Earth's gravitational pull? Somebody explain this to me. They didn't, because there is nowhere to learn that stuff. So they had the simulator. Didn't Neil smash it up? It's crazy. It's a lack of common sense. It's not being able to differentiate between what's real and what isn't, and what's possible and what isn't. Apollo 10 goes up, takes some photos, everybody happy. May 1969 comes back down. Yeah, Neil, some photos. Cheers, mucker. Off they go. July 1969. And then, was it another one at the end of 69? Then 70. Anyway, 7, including 10. So if we don't include 10, it's 6. But 6 landed on the moon. 6 took off, 3 astronauts in each rocket, and landed on the moon. Another thing, leaving the command capsule, been traveling for 100 hours. I think it's 102, 103, 104 hours. That's the timeline for Apollo 11. It's a hour 102, 3 or 4, right? 100 hours traveling, 3 people cramped up in a rocket the size of a car, right? An SUV, they say, for 100 hours. And they get to the moon and they separate. And Neil and freaking Buzz go down and leave Michael Collins on his own. And he orbits the moon 30 times, waiting for them. 30 times after that trip, left on his own to orbit the moon. Just got there. Yeah, all right, see you later, guys. The fucking moon. 30 times. Now, it doesn't happen. It's a lack of common sense to think that that is even possible. Just the human nature side of it. I say this, right, and people go, no, the astronauts were top trained. Nothing can train somebody to get to the moon, never having been there before. 3 people, 2 of them leave the other person on their own, orbiting the moon at 68, 100 miles or kilometers per second, at an altitude of 112 kilometers. 1969. And they dropped and they came back up and joined the freaking command capsule again. They did it 6 times. It's this bit right here, right? To believe what have they done to people to make people believe this rubbish, right? It's amazing. What is it that they could not get people to do, right? Honest to God, it's so we have nowhere for training this kind of stuff, right? Just to drive a car down here, you need what, 100 hours? Where did they train? Where did they do this landing in a vacuum and in just 1/6 of Earth's gravitational pull? How do you go up there and do that? When Neil and Buzz were dropping on the descent, why did nobody, you can hear the whole audio, why didn't nobody say, yo Neil, how you going? Did it feel all right? What's it like in the vacuum? 1/6 of Earth's gravitational pull, you've never done this before. Nothing. See, there's all of these obvious signs, but people, you don't know. It's like you don't understand the human nature side of it. It isn't possible. It's a bridge too far. And now they'd be going, oh no, they're American astronauts. They're human beings. It isn't possible. It's too much. It's too much. Did they show even the slightest bit of anxiety? Michael Collins, yo, later guys, be careful. He's 386,000 kilometers away from planet Earth. The first people after the bloody Apollo 10 to get there, but to do the proper job. His lifeline has just through the little hatch, through the windows. Bye, bring me up a rock, Neil. All right, mate, no problem, Michael. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. It just does not happen. But this right here, this crazy moonlark, is what has all of the people who have been taught this stuff early, right, the common sense thing, it has people believing that absolutely anything is possible. And this rolls over onto the pyramids, right? The Egyptians, fuck it, we went to the moon in 1969. We built Giza over the weekend without copper hand tools. It's this attitude that better than everybody else, right? But it's not real. It's not real. It has to come out. It has to go. I reckon it's going to be a whistleblower. But you know what? Even if a whistleblower came out now, who's people you have seen buzz? No, we didn't go. Which was the most dangerous part, Buzz? Dangerous? We didn't go. He said it over and over. But people, you want to believe it. America, the moon is yours. It's not. I confiscated it from NASA years ago for lying, right? And the sun's mine anyway. So I'm joking about here. This is about common sense. Once again, common sense is the ability to know how to differentiate between what is real and what isn't. And folks, a lot of you are living. It's a crime. It's a crime. What? I was looking on Wikipedia, right? I know people can change stuff, but you read up on the reflectors, and it's the depth. I just can't get past the depth of the lie. And such a person invented that laser, but not before the other person who invented the framework for it, and we're down to 1960. And in 1960, I read it and I say to myself, these people are parasites. The actual existence of human life, right? And there are people lying. It's looking at this from an outsider's point of view, because I feel like that sometimes, right? It's beyond comprehension. I'm not sure what is the thing that is beyond comprehension the most. The lie, or the fact that so many people believe it? Because the lie, come on, you've got to give them 10 out of 10 for lying about going to the moon. But they've convinced people that it happened. They've convinced people that in 1969, between 1969 and 1972, right? 6 fucking rockets. 6, right? That's 2. I reckon we need to put, let's make it 7, because we're going to do Apollo 10. They took the pictures. I mean, the only reason they didn't, I don't know why they didn't just drop that last 7 or 8, 9 kilometers. Why not? It was easy back then, wasn't it? They should have just gone. No, we got this. It was easy back then. There was no dramas. It was, you just go, don't you? Where you going, boys? To the moon. Oh, you the astronauts? Yeah. Be back at the weekend. Off you go. Everything is possible. Made people think that us conspiracy theorists are the problem. Holy smokes. There you go. Alright, so you've got Apollos 10, 11, and another one, right? 13. Let's do 13 in red, shall we? Honestly. So it ruptures a tank. It wasn't long into the flight, right? But they managed to go all the way around the moon. Right? They even did the radio silence. They even pushed that one. Oh, we don't know where they are. Apollo. How long has it been, crew? How long has it been? Was it like 4 minutes or something? Shouldn't have been. And then, Houston, yeah! Everybody's loving it, aren't they? The movie was awesome. But from a common sense point of view, right, it's so far-fetched. It's that common sense thing, right? But the moon is one of those that it's both of them. It's what is real and what isn't, being able to differentiate, and between what is impossible and possible. And believe you me, it's still impossible today, but uber impossible. Nobody's going to the moon. Nobody will ever go to the moon. The only things that get to the moon are travelling too fast. There will be a very, very good scrap pile up there. Another absurdity. I'm glad I remembered this because I keep thinking about this. That Ulysses, whatever its name was, right? A rocket ship. Ulysses or whatever it was. So they send this thing to the moon, right? It's the lack of common sense. They don't hide it. They are showing you stuff, but you still believe it, right? This thing, it was, I don't know, that's not thrust in a vacuum because that doesn't work. These are just where it lands. And it had all the stuff, you know, cut the flashing lights, whatever. And it landed. How are they getting away with it? It didn't land down, right? It landed like that. That's how it was designed. It came in. It's fucking top heavy, right? Sorry for the swear word, but I'm containing myself here right now. It's top heavy, and it came into land like an aeroplane. And it tipped over, didn't it? Like, it's going that way. Or let's say it's going this way, all right? Because the design. Do people just don't know how to think? You see stuff like this. I remember screaming about this but what's the point? Oh. I don't know. So anyway, all it needs is a little rock, and it's flat on its face, isn't it? It's coming to land like an aeroplane. It's the stupidity. They're laughing. There are people up at the top, right? Oh, I'd love to be in that room, honestly. Is there room for one more? Right? They will be splitting their sides at the things that the majority are believing. It's a fact. There's not much anybody can do apart from just keep bang, bang, hoping that people wake up. 1969. Fucking 61, I was born in 1964. I remember what it was like. I'm sure I can remember my mum and her mates on the balcony in the Impala buildings where I used to live. They were jumping up and down. I remember seeing the moon in the sky as they were jumping up and down on the 13th floor. Like balcony, easy to trip up or fall off. And I swear to God, right, I can remember looking at the moon. And, they're landing on the moon. Like, I'm like, landing on the moon. I remember thinking this. I never thought much of it until 10 years ago. And everything just goes dum 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 dum, and it's like, oh my God, they're good liars. But it's not about being a good liar. You've got the education system. That is one of the main problems that humanity faces, they're getting to the children too fast, right? This social media ban, that's going to give them another blind spot. COVID, 2 years of COVID. I reckon governments are worried that there's too much going on social media, and the young ones, the 14s, the 15s, the 16s, they don't want them learning too much about conspiracy theories. They don't want them hearing about what I'm saying, do they? But then again, why would I worry? I mean, Joe Rogan, everybody's on it. There's always posts, people posting. But to think that people believe these things, it's off the charts. Ridiculous. Dart. It's another one. It's like people. So they shoot a rocket. Look, let's play with one of those, right? Let's just rub it out. Let's just go the whole hog, right? So, an asteroid. I can't remember if it was possibly coming towards us, or I think it was just a test, right? So they shoot a fucking rocket up there. How far was it? Alexa, how far did Dart have to fly to hit the asteroid off course, the Diophysis or whatever?
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
I knew she was going to say that. Alexa, the Dart, the NASA's Dart that hit the asteroid, how far did it travel?
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Alexa, did NASA shoot an asteroid off course?
From NPR.org. Last September, NASA made history by knocking an asteroid off course.
Alexa, how far away was that asteroid that NASA knocked off course?
From dailysavar.com. In a first ever planetary defense test, NASA hit the bullseye Monday as it struck an asteroid 11.27 million kilometers, 7 million miles, away in order to deflect its orbit.
7 million miles. They shot 7 million miles, like 10, 11 million kilometers or something, right? That's way further than Pluto, right? Pluto's what, 5? Oh no, sorry, that's billion. My bad. But still, and you know what the best part, the bit that gets me about this Dart thing? I think the actual missile or its companion, its wingman, right? Just before impact, these are the bits that just, it's stupid. A camera dropped out of the stuff that was headed for the asteroid, right? A camera in a box, and it took stills. So they have stills of the impact. A camera, I think it was made in Italy, right? Something like that. Dropped out and followed them, and bang, they hit. Took photographs, right? Sent them back. Yay! It's the lack of common sense to believe this stuff, right? The Parker Solar Probe. It's the sun. Got to within 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Orbiting the sun at a distance of approximately just 5 sun diameters from the sun. And guess what? It got caught up in a CME, in a coronal mass ejection, didn't it? Sun just happened to blast one off. The Parker Solar Probe, with its heat shield, it took footage. There is footage. It it's not even a lack of common sense anymore. It's living in Disneyland. Anyway, this thing, you can see footage, and it's caught in a freaking solar flare just a few sun diameters from the sun, and it sends footage back. To believe this, there is nothing people won't believe. See, when I get to a realization, it's like, people believe everything. There is nothing that they do that you won't believe. People have just been bamboozled. You believe everything you're told. There's no, I don't think that would be possible. 1969, the moon. Of course it's possible. And more. Give us some more. Nothing. There's just no boundaries. You live in an open-ended, hypothetical, theoretical disaster. But when it comes out, right, it will come out. Of course it will come out. What's that saying? Don't ask yourself why you didn't know. Ask yourselves why some of us knew the difference, right? How is it possible that there's that bigger split amongst what people believe? It's because the children who had this drummed into them at school, it was part of the curriculum, isn't it, in the US? Curriculum. I mean, NASA goes around the schools, doesn't it? Young children. Oh, NASA's coming tomorrow. Mum, NASA came today. They went to, I want to be an astronaut, Mum. Settle down, Billy. Settle down. Dreams shattered. Lies, the money they're spending when it could be spent elsewhere. It's the lies, the depth of them. It's created a different reality. A reality for those people who simply cannot differentiate between what is real and what isn't. And they cannot differentiate between what's impossible and what is possible. You have absolutely no idea. No idea whatsoever. So everything goes. Anyway, I think that's going to have to do it for tonight. I could just go on with the absurdities and the lies, the obvious lies, the Mars stuff, ingenuity and curiosity and perseverance, that thing, that beast with all that weight on it, thrust in a vacuum and a half. Thank you very much. What's that beast called that dropped perseverance and ingenuity? Anyway, someone, what is it? Something, elevator, no. Skyrocket, that's what it is. Skyrocket active, you can see it, and it comes down. And with the fucking lines, umbilical cords, you could see the two different camera views. It's not the same one. The arm isn't the same one. When it goes from speed, if it goes from normal speed to 1/10 the time speed when the shoots deploy, you can see they're different fucking patterns. It's not the same footage. You can see the umbilical cords as you're looking, I think it's from the top one or the bottom camera. So you've got the beast coming down onto Mars. We've got the umbilical cords all coming down, and this one, and we've got Perseverance, the Mars rover, and Ingenuity's tucked up inside there somewhere, itching to get his props going. Apparently, the blades, the rotors of Ingenuity, had never been trialled on Earth. The first trial, apparently, was on Mars. It's how they roll, isn't it? You know, nothing's impossible. It all goes, doesn't it? Imagine that 60-something flights, an autonomous program. Ingenuity used to do its own thing. Like, oh, I don't think I'll land there today. Land somewhere else. And of course the NASA crew get the updates 15 minutes later, 20 minutes later. Oh, look what Ingenuity's doing. 60 times on Mars with the wind, the atmosphere, the impossibility of it all, right? I challenge NASA to do 60 flights with a remote control helicopter here on Earth, right? Landing up, landing somewhere. Just the distances that they are telling us Ingenuity did, right? Ingenuity didn't need a backup, a power boost. So do it down here. Do it down here. I bet you they can't. 60 flights unattended, no one there to lift it up once. See, it's these things where people just have no idea. You do not have, they've taken your critical thinking skills away from you. Your common sense was compromised. You're pretty much cannon fodder, aren't you? Because you believe everything. I'm going to get the giggles in a minute, and if I start now, I will never stop. Right. And then we've got all the other planets. They've got Jupiter and the rings of Saturn, and they surfed in between the rings, didn't they? Got the voyages. You see, the truth about all of this, if you can be objective, and if you know how to use logic and common sense, all of that what I just spoke about, there is no light delay during a solar eclipse. It's obvious that light is absolute. So things like the Mars transmissions, this speed of light, they needed the delay to be able to make it happen. Because if there was no delay, they would have to talk live to Ingenuity. It's better off if Ingenuity has its autonomous program and looks after itself. That way it frees NASA up to crank something else up, probably going to Venus again. It's the absurdities. You're being lied to. You're being lied to from the very top. It's trickling down the bottom. They're educating the kids at school. They're lying to them, and then they're coming out the other end. And not only can they not question it, but when people like me come along, they get the shits, right? Not realizing that I'm trying to help them wake up to smell the coffee, but they have attacked. What are you talking about? I do know what I'm talking about. That's the thing that's frustrating. Anyway, look, this has been fun. I'm so tired of sleep tonight. Did I mention that the house inspection isn't until next Thursday, or Wednesday or Thursday? I got the day wrong. Been in here so often that I had it written up on this thing here. Actually, what's the point? It fell down, and I was convinced it was today. So we had a pre-inspection inspection. I rang the real estate. When I checked my other email folder, I was like, I should be here by now. Oh. Hello, yeah, Paul, I thought the inspection was today. Any chance you get one of the girls over? And there was hang on, I'll just see if, no, unfortunately, so we have to go through it all again next week. It was ready. It was ready, good and proper. But, due to being tired, so folks, I have a board full of absurdities. Oh look, 7 rockets, 1969 to 1972. No dramas, no accidents. 13 had a bit of a hiccup, but nothing that couldn't be solved by 3 American astronauts, heroes. Okay, so that was 13. Yeah, there it is. All right, Tom Hanks. Yeah, good roll, whatever. And then we have, so that was 13. And we have 14. Oh, that's right, of course. 14, 15, and 16. The moon buggies. There's one, isn't there, eh? First time of trying. Boom. You saw them? Boom, 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 boom. Moon buggies. No accidents. No crashes. No, just lots and lots of rockets going to the moon between 1969 and 1972. There's 3 buggies up there. Why can't we see the buggies? Why can't we see anything? Why can't they show us when they bounce the light off of the moon? Surely they can. If they were doing it, they'd have footage. Loads. That's what when they lie about something, they give it all this. I'm sure they start to make themselves believe their lies, right? But the footage of anything, flags on the moon, the buggies. What do you mean you can't get a picture of them? And then you get those lie ones that are so. Oh, you see an article and it says China's whatever Chandra has spotted Apollo 11 or Apollo 12 or something, and there are people that go, see, there's a photo of it. Wow. Is it even possible that people are that naive? It is possible. It is possible. They're kept naive and left in the dark because otherwise, if kids started to think, like proper think, game's up, isn't it? That's why they keep them in the dark. Social media ban, 2 years, don't like where this is going, they're getting ever so questiony. Let's give them 2 years break. I am sometimes very surprised I am still here. Honestly, some people pissed off at me because I'm telling them about relativity and it's a lie. So there could come a day, take it on the chin, half job done already. I reckon I've made a lot of people think. That's all it takes. A few people to think and then it snowballs. A friend will tell a friend, look at that guy, listen to this. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, then those two, it's important. It's actually, in a sense, it's kind of the future of the human race is at stake here. Because when, and it will, light is discovered to be absolute, which is extremely obvious, right? The lies are there, just like open books, with the people holding those open books. Wasn't me, na 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 na. Wasn't me, right? Isn't it? Oh, the fallout. There's a couple of people I'd love to question. I really would. Mr. Tyson, I'd love to have a one-on-one with him. His Mickey Mouse science versus my common sense. Hear me, Neil? You ignore me. You haven't got what it takes. You've been ignoring me for years. It's absurdity after absurdity. He seems to know an answer for every question. And it's when people in the background on the chats are saying things like, oh, Neil, you're so clever. Wow, this has really been an education. And I think, me, Neil, good skills, mate, isn't it? Gift of the gab. He hasn't. It's so obviously a lot of stuff is made up on the fly, but people don't know how human nature works. They don't even know how their own self works, let alone how other people tick. But when you can see the lies, it's scary. It really is. It's something else. But they have to get to the children. They teach the children. The key is to keep the children protected till as long as we can. And then send them off with all of the tools needed to carry on busting absurdities. So there's a good chance that this one will be filtered accordingly. Oh, stop it. This post will be filtered accordingly. But on Rumble, Indigo C1, that's where you will find me. Because I keep getting a little bit more and a little bit more closer and closer to where they don't want me to be. And if I disappear, you don't want to lose me, right? I guarantee you. I'm not wired like you guys. I know what I'm talking about. It is confronting for you, right? But logic, common sense, they're like scalpels. I'm objective. I'm not biased. I don't carry this internal what do you call it? Mind manipulation. Through my childhood at school, I was to 9 schools in my childhood, in Spain, in the UK, and in the US, Virginia, Chesapeake. God, I kept on moving. So I didn't, just as they were going to get me, right, here he is, we got in this eye, he's gone again. And we moved again. And that's why I can see everything for what it is. Because I am on the outside, looking in. I'm self-taught with everything. Right? That's another thing. You guys, it's really frustrating. All of you. No, this is how photons work. No. What you're failing to realize, it's not your knowledge. It's not your knowledge. So you need to stop going on about it like you discovered it, because you didn't. Somebody else told you. There is a massive difference. Nobody told me. I have worked this out objectively using logic and common sense. A solar eclipse, when the sun is directly behind the moon, there is no light delay. There is no light delay. But they've made you even think there's an 8-minute and 20-second light delay. 2 points when there is no light delay. That is what we're up against. Oh, God. I know I was a quitter. Just go have a few beers now and watch Star Trek or something. That's another one. Star Trek, the Flintstones and the Jetsons. Betty and Barney, the first people to be abducted in the US. Alexa, who are the first people to get abducted in the US?
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
They've done this to her, right? She always used to chat, but they've cut her off. Guarantee they listen to me. Wankers. Alexa, Betty and Barney, when did they get abducted?
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Alexa, who were the first people to ever get abducted on this planet by aliens?
From Quora.com. One of the first people to report being abducted by aliens was a Brazilian farmer named Antonio Vilas Boas in 1957.
Alexa, did Betty and Barney get abducted by aliens?
From Wikipedia.org. Barney and Betty Hill were an American couple and civil rights activists who claimed they were abducted by extraterrestrials in a rural portion of the state of New Hampshire from September 19th to 20, 1961.
Just when the moon thing was starting to happen, space, isn't it? It's all coincidental, isn't it? Everybody, oh, see, UFOs came to the moon. 1960s. That's when there was a changing of the guard. That is when somebody said, let's lie to these people. Let's lie to them. Let's make this planet our own. And now they've claimed so much knowledge that can't be known, and they have claimed so many achievements, lots of them that won't ever be achieved. And one of those is going to the moon. All right, folks, look, 48 minutes. I knew this was going to go on, but felt good to get this one out of the way. All right, hasta luego. Hasta la vista, baby. Of course, they haven't gone to the moon. Laters.